Today we're talking about what mums in business are doing right on social media and what mistakes they're making. Welcome to the Visibility Show. I am your host, Melissa Groom, and I'm joined today with my very special guest, Chantal Gerardy, who's an online business strategist. Hello, Chantal.
Hello.
So great to have you here. I know you've helped so many business owners. You've got so many great reviews and success stories to share with us. So let's start first with what are some of your tips to succeed on social media, and then we can talk about some mistakes that common mistakes that you see businesses making, and then share a couple of success stories of people that you've worked with.
Yeah, thanks so much, Melissa. When you first said that, I was like, oh my gosh, have we got all day? Because there's so much to talk about. But for me, just like yourself, I'm incredibly passionate about helping business owners and mums and businesses be successful on social media, because so many of them just don't have the marketing budget to be able to outsource it to someone else. You know, you constantly hear about just outsource it, but some of us are just not quite ready for that just yet. And what I personally believe is that you have to have a strategy. One of my favorite S words is strategy. And if you do not have a strategy and you just go out and spit onto social media, you're not going to get a result. So many people.
I heard it's called spray and pray.
Yeah, I call it spitting. And they're just hoping that something's just going to work. So, for me, it was when I first started out, that's exactly what I did. So I completely get it. I know people are doing it. You go out there and you're like, I have this passion, I have this will, I have this want, this amazing idea, and I also want to make some money. I'm just going to go onto social media because I know how to log in and I know how to post my baby pictures and what I ate for breakfast. Now I know how to market my business. But it's not quite like that, because at the end of the day, like, you got to know you've got to become a marketer. You've got to know how to use social media and effectively. So for me, it's about having the skills, meaning that you've got to have the skills to use these platforms. Whatever we use in our business, we've actually got to get to know well. We can't just know how to log in and post. We've got to know how it actually works. We've got to understand algorithms. We've got to understand, who's seeing what. We've got to understand our privacy settings. So whatever it is that we have, we've got to know how to use well. And then that's the skills part of it. Then the other S part of it is strategy. You have to have a strategy, meaning you've got to know what you're selling to who, where they are online, and how you're going to effectively communicate it through your content to get a yes. So not just for them just to go, oh, that's nice, or just to engage. But when I say a yes, meaning that it's going to evoke enough curiosity that they're either going to give you their email address or book a call or buy from you, because they're one step closer to them engaging your services and choosing you. And that's really important. So that's the second S word. So we've got skills, we've got strategy, and then we've got simple. The other S word is we really need it to be simple, because we don't want to spend our lives online. I come from a fitness background, 20 years in the health, wellness, and fitness industry. I'm not a techie person. I don't like being online. I actually just want to get on, do what I need to do, and get off. So I think for mums in business or for other small business owners, it's important for us to know how to simply do it. We don't need to do what everyone else is doing. Just because everyone else has a public group or private group and they've got 10 pages and, 5 this and 7 that's and whatever, we need to know what's simply going to work for us. And at the end of the day, it comes down to who your audience is and what you're selling, and what you're confident in doing as well, because some people just aren't confident doing something. So it's actually better for them not to do the things that they're not confident in right now. Better for them to gain their confidence and evolve and get into it later on. So for me, it's always about keeping it simple, having the skills, having the strategy, and that means you'll be successful and get sales.
Very good. Very good. So what's your advice to a mum just starting out in business? Because I saw someone just post in a group this morning going, look, I'm posting online, but I'm not getting any likes. I'm not getting any engagement. What am I doing wrong? Like, what's your advice to them?
Oh, for goodness sake, what am I going to say? I would say get expert help. That was always one of the biggest things I did. I mean, you were one of my first mentors I ever had with the Empower Mums Business Network. So it was about surrounding myself with people who know what they're talking about, but it's also about not trying little bits of what everyone is saying. If you're going to invest in something, see it through. Like, because if they're an expert at something, you need to go with them, trust them on the journey, and see it right through to fruition, rather than what a lot of people do is they do a little bit of this and a little bit of that, a little bit of this, and that's not going to work. It's like taking a treasure map, 10 treasure maps, and putting them together and hoping it's going to help you find the gold. But one of the best exercises that I do is called a business brain dump. And it's something that I do with my clients in the very first session, where we sit down and we map out your income opportunities. You know, my personal story, and that is I had no money, and I had absolutely nothing, and I had no Centrelink when I first came here. So for me, it was about, I had to make money. I couldn't not make money. And I was the only, I was the primary income person too. Like, so it had to work. I couldn't just wing it and hope it was going to work. It actually had to make money. So for me, what I do is I sit down, and I love a whiteboard, and I map it out, and I go, what are my income opportunities? And think about everything. Think about webinars, events, in person, online, and just spider graph and just map out the whole thing. Like, if money wasn't an option, what do you see yourself doing? So I really want you to think big about it, and go and map it all out, put it all out there. Then I want you to look at it, and I want you to go, what do I enjoy doing here? Like, what do I absolutely love? You know, you were talking to me earlier about you being a connector. And for me, my number one strength is an activator. I activate people. So I jump in without thinking, and I figure it out along the way. So, you know, think about what you enjoy doing, because if you enjoy doing it, you're more likely to do it. So if it's comfortable for you and you're in your happy place, you're more likely to take action and do it every day. And the next part is what do people love about you that you do, that they go, oh, you're so good at that. You're absolutely amazing at that thing. And, you know, because those are the people, if they know, like, and trust you, and they love what it is that you do, chances are there's more people out there and they'll pay you for that thing. So look at that whiteboard, keep those 3 things in mind, and then go, which of these income streams can I focus on social media? Because often what we're doing is we're too general, we're too fluffy, and we're marketing everything to everyone. And in this online world of shiny light syndrome, it's just not going to work. So that would be my process. And to tell you the truth, that was what I suggested to an Uber driver once, who said to me, if I was to start a business, what would I do? And those are my tips. And it's actually on a blog on my website as well.
Excellent. I love it. And so what are some of the biggest mistakes that you see businesses, you sort of suggested saying, you know, spitting or just putting out content and winging it. What else can you see? I mean, you've worked with so many clients. What were they doing wrong before you worked with them?
A lot of the time people think that they know what they're doing, because you don't know what you don't know, right? So a lot of the time people actually think that it's working. They'll come to me and they'll go, like on the weekend, someone messaged me and said, oh, I've got like 100 people joining my Facebook group each week. And I'm like, so what? So what? So for me, that's just ego metrics, you know, oh, I'm getting likes, I'm getting engagement. Well, you're not making any money from it, are you? No, haven't made money in 6 months, haven't sold 1 program. Oh, okay. Well, that's not an income producing funnel. Like, it's not working. So I find that a lot of the time people will come to me and they go, well, I don't really need help, or I don't really need that thing. So for me, if it's not making money, it's not working. And I'm not a big fan of completely changing things. I'm a big fan of reviewing what's working or not working and then tweaking it along the way. A lot of times people often will just rebrand, or they'll completely change, and then they've lost all the momentum that they've already got. Often those momentum, they're heading in the right way, but they're going through the bushes. If you look at a treasure map and they've kind of got off the path and they're going somewhere else, sometimes you can get them back on track without completely changing things. So I think some of the biggest mistakes is that don't let your ego get in the way. Likes and engagement are not indicators of success. An indicator of success is the right leads and inquiries coming in and people actually buying from you.
What's your What's your take on the advice to create one piece of content and put it everywhere?
Oh, look, I'm a big fan of that, repurposing it. And in fact, I've got a mastermind today, and I'm talking about how to take a presentation and repurpose the crap out of it. As I mentioned earlier, I do not like being online, and I like to do things as simply as and effectively as possible. So taking one piece of content and then repurposing it and putting it strategically. So when you put content out, you always have to think with the end in mind. What am I hoping to achieve from putting that out? And if you're constantly saying brand awareness or visibility, you're never going to make any money. When you put out a piece of content, it's also got to result in inquiries, leads, and generating actual income. So repurposing content's great. I do believe in respecting the platforms. So you have to understand, like I spoke about skills earlier, Facebook, I mean, I love Facebook. 80% of your time, I believe, you should be on Facebook and 20% on the others. You can take that content and then respectfully put it on Facebook in the right places with a strategy. But then when you go out into Instagram's a different beast. So you have to respect that audience. You have to respect who's on there, who's seeing it, who your followers are, and you've got to respect the platform and how the algorithm works. So for example, hashtags don't really work on Facebook, but hashtags work on Instagram. Hashtags on Facebook that do work very differently to how hashtags work on Instagram. So you have to understand the platform. Same with LinkedIn. So if you are going to repurpose content, all I say is do it respectfully. Respect the platform, respect the audience, and have a strategy in mind.
Yes, and maybe don't share it all on the same day at the same time. Like, if you can you could really schedule it so it comes out on the platforms each day of the week. You know, including your website and your email and all that sort of stuff.
And the only way you're going to know, like the only way you're going to be able to test and measure to see whether or not it's actually beneficial is to review. So one of my favorite R words is on a Friday, I've got a massive review session. I review everything from the previous week. We review every single insight from every single platform, and it doesn't actually take too long because you get really used to it. Again, have the skills to do it. I go through and I have a look and I make sure that things are going up or down. And when they do, I ask myself, why have they gone up? Why have they gone down? And what can I do next week? What can I try? Because the definition of insanity is doing the same thing again and again and expecting a different result. And unfortunately, many business owners are in that hamster wheel, getting up, doing the same thing again and again, going, oh, I'm doing it consistently, so at some point it's going to work. Well, if it hasn't, we normally do 4 to 6 weeks, and in 4 to 6 weeks, if that strategy is not working, we tweak it. We look at where it is not working. What is the part where it's kind of not not getting there, and then we'll mix it up.
Yeah, it's great that you do a review every week. That's awesome. It's like having your sales meeting or a team meeting every week. You're having that with your team. So share it with us, some success stories that you've had. I'm sure you've got some that are top of mind.
Yeah, I'm probably going to talk about Natalie and Car, and they two sisters. They've been in the business for the last year. They're probably making about $5,000 a year with what they were doing. They're very active on social media, but they wanted to scale and take their business to the new level. And they came to me and they said, right, how do we do this and how do we do it properly? So I said to them, well, firstly, how quickly do you need to make money? It's always like yesterday. So I'm like, cool. So I was lucky enough, we had a look, and they did actually have a database that was warm, which is really important. So whilst we're setting up their website and whilst we're setting up their Facebook page, in fact, the website and the Facebook page were unpublished for the first 6 weeks. We actually were able to generate them, working together with them. I mean, these sisters, though, they really worked hard. But in 1 week, they made what they made in a year. So they made $5,000 worth of sales in the first week by just following the strategy that we had. That's awesome. Which was really super cool. So I was really super proud of them. And at the moment now, they're kind of slowing down and going, well, hold on, we've got to get the website and Facebook. But it was really cool to sort of achieve that without actually having those 2 pages done. I'm working with. Can I
ask you, was that without paid Facebook ads?
No ads. I don't do any advertising at all. So in my own business, I don't do ads. And with the clients I work with, we don't do any paid ads. And in fact, right now, doing advertising is more of a gamble than ever before, because with the new iOS and Android update, they are not sharing their insights anymore. So Apple and Android, they're not giving the insights to Facebook. So whereas Facebook had the insights before, they could better strategize as to how they were going to use your money to put your ads out there. They're not having that anymore. So you don't actually know. There's a hole in it now, in that they've got to rely on the insights coming through. So if it's not working organically, it's not going to work in advertising. So I do help people get ready for advertising, but we don't do any ads at all. One of the other ladies I'm working with at the moment, she worked with a big company. She's actually internationally renowned, but she stepped away from a massive organization to now manage and run her own brand by herself, and came to me, and she had an email list. We worked out that half the email list were cold, some were warm, so we got rid of the dead weight. It's really important, get rid of dead weight. Again, a lot of people want to hang on to cold leads and cold inquiries, and don't put your energy where it's not working. I would never sleep. I'd be exhausted. And then, so we put together, and I think it's probably been about 4 weeks now as well. And she's actually had to delay her last couple one-on-one appointments because she's actually got too many inquiries coming through. So we've actually had to put team in place for her now so that she can go and automate it. So it's very different. The two that I've used, kind of had an online presence beforehand, so they were able to change direction, rebrand, and take their tribe of people that know, like, and trust them along with them. Yeah. But a lot of times people come to me and they don't have it. They don't have the know, like, and trust. So we've got a structure that we put in place to develop that know, like, and trust, and then be able to sell to them.
Very good. Well, thank you so much for joining us today and sharing all your amazing tips. And you are doing a wonderful job. I mean, I'm so proud of the very first time I met you to where you are today. I mean, you're such a great role model, not just to your daughters, but to other mums in business, to say, hey, you can start with nothing, and you've just got to invest in yourself, work hard, upskill. You've gone and done a lot of training to get to where you are, and you've got amazing success stories. So well done. You are a great example of what mums in business can achieve when they really back themselves.
Yeah, thank you so much, Melissa.
You're welcome. And remember that you are amazing. So go out there and shine your light bright. Have an amazing day, everyone. Bye.